Know about you, but I can officially say, and I can truly officially say, we are in the end, we are past the end game. We are in the third act of the end game. You know, Captain America is standing there by himself. He got the Thanos' army in front of him, ready to take down Captain America and win, take over the world. And there's Captain America, he straps on his shield, ready to go to war. No man is, everyone else is down and out. And then we hear, on your left, on your left. And hope is back. The people that were snapped are finally back. They come through the portals, and here we are. It's been 2 years since the last Marvel movie came out in 2019, July 2nd, 2019, with Spider-Man Far From Home, and we haven't seen a Marvel movie since. Now, some people might be saying to yourself, well, Matt, you know, when a movie gets a sequel, it normally is about 2 to 3 years till we see it. So it's only been 2 years since the last Marvel movie. What's the big deal? Well, you know, my friends, when you've been like me, and there's probably a lot of you out there, when you've been other than between 2008 and 2010, we've had a Marvel movie every year, and in the past couple of years, we've had about 3 of them a year. Guess what? When you go down 2 years without even one Marvel movie, yeah, you feel like Black Widow, like Captain America, like, you know, Thor, like Rocket Raccoon, sitting, years go by, 5 years go by, nothing's happening, the world is destroyed, half of the population is gone, it seems like everything's over, and then, on your left, Black Widow is here. Finally, Scarlett Johansson made her debut as Natasha Romanoff in Iron Man 2 in 2010. I remember that. I was down in Savannah, going to Savannah College of Art and Design. You know, even the day before, a friend of mine needed help on her film set. I said, sorry, Jamie, I have something going on tomorrow. I'm going to be on, I got something going on, I can't help you out. So what did I do that Saturday? I went to the movie theater, sat down, and watched Iron Man 2. Because at that point, that was the first time in 2 years since the Marvel movie came out. Before that, the last one was The Incredible Hulk in June of 2008. Just a couple of weeks after I graduated high school. And here we are, 2 years later. The last movie, like I said, was Spider-Man Far From Home. Now we got Black Widow. Like I said, Scarlett Johansson made her debut in Iron Man 2. She followed that up with The Avengers, then Captain America and the Winter Soldier, then Age of Ultron, then Civil War, then Infinity War, and then Endgame, and then what? No more Natasha. She's dead. But we knew we were getting a Black Widow movie. It was going to take place between Captain America Civil War and Avengers Infinity War. Right in the middle there. And you know what? Another thing that really excited me about going to sit in the movie theater, Regal Avalon. I've seen so many movies at Regal, especially when it pertains to Marvel movies. But not only that, but something that really made it feel all the more like I'm Captain America, and I hear Falcon on your left. But he was on my right in the theater. My friend Reese was there, and sitting there in the movie theater, and he hasn't seen a movie since before the pandemic started in a theater. So there we were watching Black Widow. I also like this because I've seen about 85 to 90% of the Marvel movies with my friend Reese. Now, I've seen all the Marvel movies in theaters, as in this one Marvel movie. Since it started in May of 2008 with Iron Man 1, me and my friend Reese were there opening night on I think it was either Friday or Saturday, in May 2nd, or May 1st, 2008. We were seniors in high school, about 3 weeks till graduation, and there we were, seeing the first movie that would start the cinematic universe. And here we are, 2021, we're back in the theater, we're watching a Marvel movie, and Iron Man 1, people that do not remember, Iron Man 1 was showing at a United Artists Regal when it was at North Point. So now to be back in another the same United Artists, but instead of North Point, it's Avalon. And I'm with one of my best friends, Reese. Here we are, watching another Marvel movie. And I can tell you, all the Marvel movies I've seen with them, about 85 to 90% of them. So when I say things are back to normal, I mean things are back to normal. And that's a good feeling. But now let's get into the movie. The positives. Number 1, Scarlett Johansson. She's been great ever since, really, Avengers 1. Yeah, the Iron Man 2, they viewed her, but they really was more of a sexual figure than an actual character. It was a let's see how we can make Scarlett Johansson hot for 2 hours. I mean, I still remember that scene with Tony Stark, and then in the boxing ring, him just drinking his water bottle, just looking at her, staring at her, creepy looking, and then him turning to Pepper, I want one. And she's like, no. Then Avengers, they really gave her a character to play off of, and ever since then, even in Infinity War, especially Endgame, she has one of the best scenes in that entire movie, where she's just sitting down, talking to Steve Rogers, and she's talking about family, this is the only family I have now, and all hope is lost. Great scene, she's great in the role, and once again, to make her finally have her own solo movie, she nails it. She not only nails the action, she nails the dramatic, the emotional moments in this movie with no dialogue are probably some of the best acting she's ever given. That's why, even considering her last movie role, she was up for an Academy Award, and would have won the Academy Award if it wasn't for Renee Zellweger winning for Judy Garland, which everyone knew when it was announced that Renee Zellweger was playing Judy Garland. I said, oh, she's won the Oscar already. Sure enough. You don't get an iconic actress like Judy Garland and have someone play her and not win the Academy Award. And like, come on. She is once again great. I don't agree with the critic that she takes the back seat in the movie. I don't think she takes the back seat at all. Next we have Florence Pugh playing Yelena, Natasha's sister, but not her real sister. Florence Pugh is amazing. Florence Pugh, I said it in 2019, I'll say it again. She is going to be the biggest actress in the next couple years. I said it in 2019 when she was the MVP of the year with Fighting With My Family, Midsommar, and Little Women. Little Women, she actually got nominated for supporting actress that year. She had 3 movies out that year, and I said at the end of the year, because at that time the Black Widow movie was going to come out in a couple months in 2020. I said, she is going to become the biggest actress in Hollywood, especially after Black Widow. And I can tell you, after seeing Black Widow, Florence Pugh is brilliant. So many scenes, whether it was the banter with her and Natasha, the sisterly bond, great. The emotional scenes with either Natasha or David Harbour as her pseudo-father, but not really, aka the Red Guardian. Some of the best acting, I would almost say, in any Marvel movie. And we're at number 24, 25 in Marvel films. Great. I mean, and to know that we're going to see her more in the MCU, if you can't have any more Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh is the next perfect actress to continue the legacy of Black Widow. I mean, every scene she's in, she's either funny, she can handle the action, the emotional, dramatic scenes, or just Academy Award level. I mean, I'm like, this is a Marvel movie. Yes, we've seen some great Marvel movies, but this is on another level. David Harbour. You all know David Harbour. Stranger Things. Recently, he tried out in Hellboy. That didn't work. Some people might forget he was also in the Suicide Squad. He was one of the government agents working with Amanda Waller. Also, if you want to have this Black Widow movie is more in line with a Bond film, David Harbour was in Quantum of Solace, the second Daniel Craig Bond movie. You might forget, because that was all the way back in 2008, the same year that Iron Man came out, the first MCU movie. But David Harbour, as soon as he comes on screen, he is hilarious. Every scene, he steals every scene in the movie. He is another MVP of the film. In fact, I will even go as far as to say, if Disney ever decided to make The Incredibles a live-action movie, David Harbour better be playing Mr. Incredible. There's actually a scene in the movie that you know is alluding to The Incredibles. I won't say what scene it is, but if you see in the movie, I hope you were one of those people like me that went, there's your Incredible nod. The Incredibles nod right there. David Harbour is excellent, and he played a good Hellboy. It's just that the movie wasn't good. Another positive, the family dynamic is great. Every time we see Rachel Weisz, David Harbour, Florence Pugh, Scarlett Johansson together, the banter, the bickering, it feels like a real family. And I really like that. Everything, there's a scene where they go to this house, you see it in the trailer, they're at a dinner table, it's all of them, and everything in that house is perfect. Even to the amount that I would say if I had to see a whole movie with them just in this house, all four of them, I could have watched a 2-hour movie of just the family dynamic. It's brilliant, more than we've seen in any other Marvel movie. It's great. The humor. What I love about this movie is a lot of Marvel movies, you'll have a serious moment, and then they'll cut it with some funny line of dialogue or something funny happens, and it just completely loses that dramatic weight. You see it in Black Panther, you see it in Ant-Man, you see it in Doctor Strange. But the humor in this movie, like I said, Florence Pugh, she nails the humor. It's unbelievable. David Harbour, he nails the humor. Even Scarlett Johansson has some great humorous moments. But I love how the humor does not cut the dramatic and serious moments. Another thing, this is probably, I would actually say, other than for the first Iron Man and The Incredible Hulk, 2 movies, by the way, that were at the time not owned by Disney. People forget, Disney did not acquire Marvel until 2000, before Iron Man 2 came out. That is why if you go back and watch Iron Man 1 and The Incredible Hulk, they're a lot darker, they're a lot edgier, they're serious. They have the humor, but they're a lot more serious, grounded, and the stories are darker. And I'm surprised that this Black Widow movie is probably the darkest MCU movie. The story is very dark. This is not a children's movie. Even though it's PG-13. Other than Iron Man 1, I would say Black Widow is still darker than Iron Man 1 and The Incredible. I would actually put this movie on the same level as The Dark Knight in terms of how dark the story and some of the themes are. This is not your little girl's Black Widow movie. And I'm glad that Marvel understood that. then I feel like they said, yes, we want to make a Black Widow movie, but number one, Black Widow is one of the darkest characters in Marvel. She has a very, very dark history, and it's weird to say because this is the same studio that wouldn't show Tony Stark becoming an alcoholic in Iron Man 2, and they played that off for funny, with him peeing in a suit. They played that off for humor. When Demon in a Bottle is one of the most famous Iron Man storylines. But this movie is dark, and I think, like I said, Marvel said, people who have been watching the MCU since the beginning have seen Black Widow since 2010. It's been 11 years, or 10 years, when this movie was originally supposed to come out. And they were probably saying, those people have grown up. For instance, 2010, I just turned 20 years old. I was 20 and a half when Black Widow made her debut in Iron Man 2. I'm almost 32 now. I'm a grown adult. I'm in my 30s. Now I think the studio said, we're not making a little children's, Black Widow movie. We're going to make a real serious adult Black Widow movie. And this movie is teetering on R rating. I think if they had an actual sex scene in the movie, this movie would have been rated R. I think the score in this movie is very good. It's different. It fits with the character. Very dark score to go along with the story and the themes. The action, the fight scene between Natasha and Elena in the apartment in Budapest, in their kitchen, reminding me of in the Bourne films, Jason Bourne, when he's fighting in the kitchen. It reminded me of that. The Natasha and Taskmaster fight on a bridge at night was really well done. And then there's a long car chase between Taskmaster and Natasha and Elena. Very well done, reminding me also of the Bourne movies, the chase scenes in the Bourne films. Like I said, a lot of the action reminded me of the Bourne films. A lot of the spy, thriller, going to different countries reminded me of Bond a lot. The James Bond movies. I like how this was a personal story. It's a smaller scale story. It doesn't try to blow up the MCU and have a lot of Easter eggs and clues and, little Easter eggs to push the more stories forward, like in Iron Man 2 or Age of Ultron. You should really watch this movie. And really, other than maybe watching Civil War, which came before this movie, you really don't need to watch any other MCU movie. And I like that. That it keeps it pretty contained. I think Marvel's getting used to that with their solo films. They messed up with Iron Man 2 and Avengers Age of Ultron a little bit by putting in too many storylines for the future. But I think they've learned their lesson on that. And like I said, this movie is also really serious. The dramatic moments really hit home with you in this film. And they're not undercut by the funny moments. Some of the negatives I have with this movie, as much as I like the action, there's also a lot of action that is can't tell what's going on. Like, Kate Shortland, the director, hasn't made an action movie before, and there are moments that you can tell that it's even too close up, or something doesn't seem like it, like one action doesn't seem to fit with another action beat, kind of jumbled up a little bit. So I think there were some moments that I was like, I don't know what's going on here. My friend said some of the action scenes are hard to follow, and I agreed with him on that. Another thing, the villains. As we know in the MCU, the first two phases, Phase 1, Phase 2, they had some good villains, but then there was also some really bad villains. Thor: The Dark World is still one of the worst MCU movies, but that is the worst villain of all time. Even Guardians of the Galaxy, Ronan the Accuser. I thought he was a weak villain. For Guardians being one of the best MCU movies, the villain was weak. Also, you have a lot of MCU movies where the villain is just a mirror of the hero. But one thing that's sad about Black Widow is, this is technically in Phase 3, since it's between Civil War and Infinity War. Phase 3 has some of the best villains in the MCU. Whether you go back to starting with Civil War, with Zemo, which I thought was a very good villain. Or you go into Spider-Man Homecoming, Michael Keaton, Vulture. One of the best villains, period, in the MCU. Kate Blanchett in Thor Ragnarok, great villain. Killmonger in Black Panther, great villain. Even I thought Jude Law in the Captain Marvel was a pretty good villain. And then of course, Thanos. What can we not say about Thanos? Probably one of the most brilliant villains of all time. Up there with the Joker. Heath Ledger's Joker, of course. Yeah, and in MCU Phase 3 has some bad villains. Doctor Strange, I like Doctor Strange the movie. But the villain played by Mads Mikkelsen, the character was weak. The villain was weak. No fault of the actor, it's just the character was weak. I even thought Spider-Man Far From Home, Jake Gyllenhaal, other than for some of the cool visuals of Mysterio, going back and watching that film, I think the villain could have been better in that film. But Taskmaster wasn't fully fleshed out. I would have liked to see more of Taskmaster. Not just him and not just the character in action, but see him training, seeing the character train more, see how the character learns all the moves to replicate, the heroes. How he knows already how to fight like Winter Soldier, or Captain America, or Black Widow, or Hawkeye. I've seen a scene of Taskmaster fighting with the other Black Widows in like a training montage. Develop the character more, rather than just, throwing him into action, throwing in an action scene. I thought it was going to be more like the Winter Soldier, where you got the action, but you also got some of the complexity and the character moments. And we're going to get that with Taskmaster. Ray Winstone is also another villain. He is a little bit better off, and we understand why Black Widow is going after him, and we know his motivation and what he's doing. But when you get a guy like Ray Winstone, you want to see more of him too. You want to develop some more scenes with him. And like I said, I'm not saying that these are the worst villains that we've seen in the MCU, but when you go back and watch this movie in the order of Phase 3, you will definitely say these are one of the weakest villains in Phase 3. Because we have so many strong villains. Like I said, Vulture, Michael Keaton, Kate Blanchett in Thor Ragnarok, Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger in Black Panther, Thanos. And then you go, Taskmaster, Ray Winstone. I don't even remember Ray Winstone's character's name. Draco or Draco's daughter? Draco. Think of Harry Potter. But yeah, I thought the villains were weak, or as weak, compared to the other MCU villains in Phase 3. Other than that, I don't really have that many other negatives. Also, like I said, when it came to the action, the fight between Taskmaster and Red Guardian, they don't even show that, practically. I don't even know why they set that up. It would have been better to just cut that out of the movie entirely. Also, weirdly enough, so those are my negatives. But to finish out this review, I did find it funny, like I said before. David Harbour was in the Bond movie with Daniel Craig, Quantum of Solace, and Rachel Weisz, who's in this movie also as Natasha's and Yelena's mother, but not really their mother. Rachel Weisz was in the last Bourne movie, The Bourne Legacy, with none other than Jeremy Renner, aka Hawkeye. So seeing David Harbour and Rachel Weisz on screen with Natasha, I'm like, this is a Bond/Bourne connected universe. I like it. And I'm actually glad they didn't have Hawkeye in the movie, even they did. I've been like, okay. Instead of calling him Hawkeye or Clint, I'm going to call him Aaron. Because that was his name in the Bourne Legacy. Aaron! That's what Rachel Weisz kept yelling. Aaron! Aaron! But yeah. Also, there's another character in the movie that was also in Quantum of Solace. I won't spoil that for you. But I wonder if people who I saw the movie with recognize that actor. That actor was also in the Bond movie with David Harbour, Quantum of Solace. So like I said, it's like, okay, this is probably the most Bond-like movie in the MCU, other than Black Panther. The first act in Black Panther felt like a Bond movie. But yeah, I would give Black Widow, which I'm surprised that I wasn't looking forward to this movie. I thought I was going to go see it in an MCU movie. But after seeing this movie, I will say, this movie is way, way, way better than I thought it was going to be. And I would give this movie a 4.8 out of 5. 4.8 out of 5 for me. Black Widow is in theaters. It's also on Disney Plus. If you want to pay $30 to watch it at home, I don't know why you would do that. It's cheaper. You just buy a movie ticket and watch it in the movie theater. I'm sure, yes, you can wait till it's on Disney Plus when it comes out on video, and then it will be on Disney Plus for free. But for the meantime, if you've seen all the other Marvel movies in theaters, go see this in theaters. You won't be disappointed. It's a more adult, mature MCU movie with a character they really have established as one of the best in their lineup. So, that is all today. Matt the Matt here.